Okay, hi there everybody. Here we have a practice writing for Cambridge Proficiency at level C2. Okay, here is the question. A literary magazine has asked readers to send in articles on victims in novels. You decide to write an article on the book you have read in which you describe how one character becomes a victim and how that character responds to being a victim, and how the situation is resolved. Write your article. So, victim in literature. Certainly I would make this plural. Victims in literature. This article was written by Roland Simon. So, if I had to choose one piece of literature which describes, silly mistake, the procedure of someone becoming a victim, I would opt for An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge by Ambrose Bierce. This author was reputable for abandoning the shibboleth of linear writing style and focused on the stream of confidence. So, reputable, okay, somebody of good reputation. I would put this completely differently. The author gained a reputation for abandoning the shibboleth of linear writing style and focused on the stream of consciousness. If you know Ambrose Bierce, it will come as no surprise to you that death is the main theme in this short story. The writer, who was a war veteran, dispels any idealized romanticism in relation to war. Good. The story takes place during the American Civil War. The novel starts with a man, Payton Farquhar, a wealthy plantation owner, because we didn't know this before, who is being prepared to be hanged. So I think who they are preparing for hanging, or who is being prepared for hanging. Notice here, hanging is a noun, yeah, and therefore for. He's being prepared for hanging. Whilst he is standing firmly on a railroad bridge's plank, okay, on a railroad bridge's plank, on a plank of a railroad bridge. So while he's standing firmly on the plank of a railroad, so bridge, B-R-I-D-G-E, he remembers the halcyon days of his life when he was with his loved one. He is a Confederate sympathizer. His hands are tied, and there is a noose around his neck. Yeah, he's a Confederate sympathizer. His hands are tied, and there is a noose around his neck. The onus is on the nearby waiting Union soldiers. The onus is on the nearby on the nearby Union soldiers who are waiting. No, because that who I can replace with that. The onus is on the nearby Union soldiers who are waiting to execute him after trying to burn down the bridge. all of a sudden, he is able to extricate himself and plummets into the river below. The fugitive senses are heightened. I think his fugitive senses are heightened. He is able to notice his surroundings. He's able to notice his surroundings and and the preternatural details. He barely dodges the bullets as he swims to safety and disappears into the woods. Come hell or high water, he makes up his mind to go back home. He embarks on his journey on foot until he can eventually hug his wife. I think I'm probably going to add something like once more. It's just once, not once or once more. Okay, yes. So plausible is the description of his escape, well done, you nailed it, that the readers never question the veracity of the story. Be that as it may, at the end of the novel, they have to experience a slap a slap in the face when they acknowledge that the abscondment, that the abscond, that him absconding was a mere figment of his imagination, a mere figment of the imagination of the victim a few moments before his death. Suffice it to say that his mind does not want to accept the inevitability of death. While the convict perceives lengthy days during his fantasy of freedom, the execution procedure, so the execution happens in the speck of seconds. No, speck, a tiny, happens in the speck of seconds. The execution happens so let's lose seconds. So yeah, in a matter of seconds for the guards. The passage of time is relative for everyone. To all extents, so to all, the passage of time is relative for everyone to all intents and purposes. The protagonist experiences time dilation before the perennial silence embraces him. In conclusion, while the victim's body is restrained tightly in the most desperate situation, his mind creates an illusion of a world where he is purportedly able to outfox the soldiers and can finally find himself in the arms of his wife. Howbeit, his fate is sealed, and he cannot avoid his death. Okay, and that's where it ends. The next bit is nothing to do with this. Okay, so what am I going to say about this? I think that it's pretty good. So let's see. Mm, okay, how a character becomes a victim. Yeah, you talk about that and how he responds to being a victim and how the situation is resolved. Yes, I do think you answer all of these points. I think probably I'm going to mark out of 10 today. Um, I think I would probably give you an 8 out of 10 for answering the question. Okay, what about cohesion? Yes, it holds together quite nicely. There are none of these tiny little sentences. Um, you haven't used any moreovers or things like that, but it doesn't matter because it's cohesive and reads really quite well. Um, so cohesion, I think maybe 7.5 out of 10. Um, the vocabulary used is great. You haven't gone for anything really difficult and complex in the vocabulary, but the vocabulary is very good and very suitable to this essay. I think the vocabulary, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for the vocabulary. Okay, so how how adventurous is the grammar? Well, you've got this so inversion, and that followed directly by be that as it may. I think the it was quite good, and I think I'm probably going to give you an 8 for the how adventurous the grammar was. Once again, overall correctness. There are a lot of little mistakes. Yeah, these S's in the third person is a mistake you shouldn't be making because it drags down the opinion of it. Okay, plummets into as well. So accuracy. I think I'm probably going to give it something like 6.5 out of 10 in accuracy. There are also a few problems with a, an, and the. Oh yes, and also you got this to all intents. You didn't actually get this right. The phrase is to all intents and purposes. So overall, what am I going to give it at level C2? I think I would probably give it something like 7.25 out of 10. So this is probably an A minus, something like that, which is a good mark. It's certainly a good piece of writing. Well done.